This is still the lesson on Job. This is the second day. As we said yesterday, Job was never really given the answer to why all these things were happening to him. God allowed us to see it through reading this in Scripture, but Job didn't know why things were going on. Yet he was still faithful to God. So today we're going to look at why bad things happen to good people. And the first thing we're going to see is that the world is under the curse of sin. So people suffer just because they experience the results of the curse. These things break, things wear out, sicknesses happen, death happens, employees lose their jobs. All people face trials in their life, where none of us are immune. And we see it from the beginning of Adam and Eve's disobedience brought sin into the world. So if we could, we'll start on the right side of the room today with snake reading. It'll be Romans chapter 8, verses 21 to 22. You can pause while we read that. The second one we see is the common events that cause suffering in the world are not directed toward people who are evil. Likewise, blessings aren't just for good people. If you would turn and next in line get Matthew chapter 5 verse 45 and Luke 13 verses 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll pause while you read those. As you can see in Luke chapter 13, we're told that people thought back then that sin had to do with what was happening to you. So if someone was afflicted with something, it was because of the sin in their life. It can result that way, but it doesn't have to result that way. Next, we see trials are a natural part of life. We need to look up Romans chapter 8, verse 35. We see here in Romans that we cannot be separated by these things, these trials and tribulations. The fourth one we have is the promise of Christ is to walk with us through the valleys of tribulation. Let's turn over to Psalms. Next in line, chapter 34, verses 17, 18, and 19. Then we need someone in Psalms chapter 41, 1, 2, and 3, and 2 Corinthians 2:14. The next one we see, our fifth one, in the world, evildoers seem to prosper more than people who love God. Let's look up some scripture on this in Psalms chapter 73, verses 3, 4, and 5. Also in chapter 73, the next person needs to get verse 12. Then we need Psalm 37, verse 1. Our sixth and last one in our first reason is as we approach the second coming of Christ, we can expect suffering in the world to increase. So let's look at Mark chapter 13, verses 7 and 8, and also 2 Timothy 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We see here in our second one that there are natural consequences to wrong choices. That's normal. If we make foolish decisions, we can expect a foolish outcome. The first one we had is sometimes the consequences are related to natural laws of creation or simply how things work. Sometimes we look at, if we leave something outside in the rain, it's obvious it's going to rust. That's how things work. The second one is sometimes the consequences of bad choices are imposed by authorities in our life. If you miss curfew at your house, there's a good chance that you're going to receive punishment of some sort. Also, for us who can drive, if you choose to speed down the road, I'm sure the police officer will be glad to write you out one of those rewards for your speed. There's a consequence to an authority. The third one is in choosing an action, we understand that there is a consequence. You can choose the sin, but not the consequence. And our last one is when suffering. Correction, it's not our last one in this section, but the last one on this slide. When suffering as a consequence of wrongdoing, we have no right to expect that God will intervene on our behalf. We can't expect God to intervene on our behalf, like we use the example of speeding. Not every time when people speed do they get caught. People call it luck. There's no such thing as luck, because we believe that God allows these things to happen, and sometimes bad things happen, and we have consequences, and that's how God teaches us through those to allow us to go through those situations. Our fifth one is sometimes people suffer not because of their own choice, but they are subject to choices others have made. These are things that we can't deal with, maybe by ourselves. You think of a broken friendship where you didn't cause it, but the other did. It may be that you're coming from a home with divorced parents. You didn't ask for that situation, it just happened. Our next one is that Job's friends were partially right in their conclusion that suffering occurs as a result of sin. It's not totally true all the time, but sometimes there are other reasons. No, I get upset because it seems like sometimes evil people can do what we call get away with it. Truth of the matter is, we're going to have to stand before Him. And so there's no getting away from it because God sees all and hears all. The conclusions that we can make from these are that whether it's normal experience of living in the world, affected by curse or consequence to making a wrong choice, we should remember that several principles are related to suffering under the circumstances, and that is, pain experienced in suffering serves a positive purpose in warning us to change direction. The next one is prosperity and happiness are wonderful when they occur. God is far more interested in you being rich in grace and character than He is whether you're comfortable or receiving pleasure. As we continue on with the conclusions, we can break the third one into two parts of pride and denial of choice when we expect God to prevent the suffering in our lives that demonstrates two wrong attitudes, and those are the two wrong attitudes. To clarify for the denial of choices, would be if we expected God to manipulate certain circumstances to prevent any kind of suffering or to make our lives always kind of hunky-dory. We would, if we would ask that, we're really asking to be just puppets, to have us do whatever He would like us to do, but it's not how we were created. We were created with the freedom to make choices, and with that freedom, there comes the opportunity that we will make the wrong choices, and when we do, we can expect suffering. The fourth one is that God will eventually judge every wrong. So we're going to pick back up reading some scripture here. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 2, and then we need 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10, 2 Peter 2, 9, and Revelations 21, 8. And that will conclude our second day on Notes on Job. You may work on something quietly, but please do not talk. Thank you.